There's no more waiting. Training camp is in the books. The preseason is behind us. And now it's time for real football. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just days away from kicking off their regular season, and there's a sense around the team that something big is brewing. The energy is shifting, the captains have been named, the practices are getting sharper, and while everything on the surface seems to be lining up perfectly, there's one storyline that refuses to go away. Cam Heyward and the cloud of contract drama still hovering in the air. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. The team practiced. That alone is unremarkable, except that it happened with Cam Heyward fully participating, not on the sidelines, not in a limited role, but right there in the middle of team drills. He looked healthy. He looked engaged. And yet, the questions didn't stop there. Because when someone like Cam, veteran leader, face of the defense, cornerstone of the franchise, suddenly returns to full action after weeks of what we can now safely call a hold-in, people start wondering, is the standoff over? Did he get the new contract he was pushing for? Did he back down? Did the team blink? Or is this just the calm before the storm? What makes it all even more complicated is that Cam Heyward hasn't spoken publicly. Not a word after yesterday's practice. No comments in the locker room. No social media statements. Nothing. Silence. And silence, in moments like this, can speak volumes. For a guy who's never been shy about voicing his passion for the team, the city, and the game itself, Cam's sudden quiet is as loud as anything else happening at Steelers headquarters right now. There was a time, just a couple of weeks ago, when Cam made it clear he was ready to miss games if that's what it took. That's not something you say lightly when you're a team captain, when you're the heart and soul of the locker room. And when you know how critical your presence is for a defense trying to make a run this year. But there he was, drawing that line in the sand, daring the organization to meet him halfway. And now he's back on the field. But we still have no idea if that means the conflict is resolved or simply on pause. Even his teammates aren't entirely sure. After practice, TJ was asked point-blank if he expects Cam to play in the season opener. His answer? I hope he does. I hope the deal gets done. That's not a yes. That's not confidence. That's a hope. And then came the follow-up. What if the deal doesn't get done? And what, perhaps choosing his words carefully, said, you'd have to ask him that. That kind of uncertainty from someone like TJ, who knows Cam better than most, tells you all you need to know about where this situation stands. Now let me share what I've gathered from both sides of this standoff. From Cam's camp, it's clear that he hasn't appreciated the way his position has been perceived. Whether it's fans questioning his timing or media figures, myself included, expressing skepticism about his approach, Cam's been paying attention. And he's not thrilled. That's understandable. He's a proud guy. He's put everything into this franchise. He's the kind of player who does things the right way, on the field, in the community, in the locker room. But here's the other side. From the team's perspective, this whole thing never should have happened. Less than a year ago, Heyward signed an extension. And it wasn't just any extension, it was exactly the one he and his agent negotiated for. He got what he asked for. So when he shows up this offseason and wants the deal reopened, the team doesn't exactly rush to the table. In fact, as of just a few days ago, there was zero indication that the front office had any interest in discussing a new contract. Zero. They felt like they'd already done their part. And truthfully, by league standards, they had. So where does that leave us now? It leaves us in this weird limbo where Cam is either going to suit up and play, or he's going to take a stand and miss games. And if he chooses the latter, he won't just be hurting the team. He'll be letting down a whole locker room that wants to win for him, that's motivated to go all in for this season because of him. It's not just about TJ Watt. It's not just about Minkah Fitzpatrick or the rising stars like George Pickens and Broderick Jones. There's a feeling inside that building that this season is about legacy, about chasing something bigger. And that means Cam has more to lose than just a few $1 million. He's been voted team captain once again. That's not a courtesy title. That's respect earned over more than a decade of relentless effort, leadership, and sacrifice. And inside that locker room, there's a genuine desire to win for the captain, to make this season count, to bring it all together, not just for the ring, but for the men who have given everything to the black and gold. I've said this before, and I haven't wavered. This was a bad decision. Whether it's Cam or his agent driving the bus here, it's a mistake. It's not just about how it looks. It's about timing. It's about leverage. And it's about priorities. Cam has done more for the Steelers than most players in franchise history. He's not a guy you question when it comes to effort or intent. His Walter Payton Man of the Year award wasn't handed to him because he checked a few boxes. It was earned because he's genuine, because he gives back, because his heart is truly in the right place. But none of that changes the reality. Even great men can make poor decisions. And in this case, Cam is risking more than money. He's risking his own legacy. He's at the stage of his career where every game matters. Not just for the standings, but for the story that will be told about him when it's all said and done. This is not the time to sit out. This is not the time to hold the team hostage. This is the time to lead. And that's where the frustration comes in. Because you want to believe that a player as smart as Cam, as invested in his teammates and this city as he's always been, would see the bigger picture. This isn't just about the front office refusing to budge. It's about what Cam stands to lose by staying in this standoff. First playoff win? Off the table if he's not playing. Super Bowl chance? Gone. And maybe most importantly, the one thing that's probably been in his sights since his rookie year. A legitimate shot at the Hall of Fame. Say what you want about stats or systems or schemes. Cam has played in a 3-4 defense most of his career. That's not exactly conducive to piling up sack numbers or racking up eye-popping totals that impress Hall of Fame voters. He said that himself. He knows that he'll need more than numbers. He'll need the story. He'll need that signature moment. The Super Bowl run. The leadership moment. The Jerome Bettis in Detroit type of ending. Because whether it's fair or not, the Hall of Fame is built on more than just tape and talent. It's built on narrative. Think about it. If Ben Roethlisberger doesn't make that shoestring tackle in Indianapolis and Jerome Bettis ends his career with a heartbreaking fumble, does the story still end with a gold jacket? Maybe. Maybe not. But when they won it all, everything else faded. The fumble didn't matter anymore. The beginning of the story got blurry. The middle got forgotten. But the ending? That's what people remembered. So to see him now, standing in this sort of self-imposed limbo, it's frustrating. It feels unnecessary. It feels like something that could have been avoided entirely with just a bit of perspective. Because no one, absolutely no one, is questioning Cam Heyward's value to this organization. That's the part that gets lost in all the noise. This isn't a player who's been undervalued. This isn't someone being pushed out the door or disrespected by the franchise. He got his contract. He got his extension. He got the respect. The problem is timing and optics matter in the NFL. And right now, with the season days away, this situation is becoming the kind of distraction that championship teams can't afford. Meanwhile, the rest of the locker room continues to move forward. Mike Tomlin holds his press conference. The players hit the field for practice. The game plan for Week 1 is being installed. And yet, in every hallway, in every interview, there's that same undercurrent. What's going on with Cam? Is he playing? Did they work something out? Are they keeping it quiet? Or is this thing about to blow up? And until those questions get real answers, the Steelers will keep operating with a sense of uncertainty they just don't need right now. What complicates matters even more is the symbolic weight that Cam carries. He's not just a defensive lineman. He's a leader. He's the guy younger players look to when they're trying to figure out what it means to be a professional. He's the player coaches count on to reinforce the message in the locker room after they leave the room. When a guy like that is even possibly sitting out games, it creates ripples. Not just on the field, but in the culture. And for a team trying to build something real this year, that's a dangerous game. There's also the reality of age. Cam Heyward is not a young man in football terms. Every season at this stage is precious. Every snap is borrowed time. And that's not meant to be disrespectful. It's just the nature of the sport. The longer you wait, the fewer chances you get. And if Cam is serious about chasing a ring, if he's serious about cementing his legacy with something more than just accolades and stats, then this season might be his best, if not his last, real opportunity. So the question becomes, what's more important to him? The potential short-term financial bump or the chance to be on the field, chasing greatness, leading the charge in what could be a storybook ending to a remarkable career? Fans are watching. The league is watching. And you better believe the Hall of Fame committee is watching too. Because whether we like it or not, these moments get remembered. They get written into the narrative. The contract drama, the missed games, the lingering questions. These aren't just footnotes. They become chapters. And for a guy like Cam, whose candidacy for Canton will always be borderline because of the nature of his position and the scheme he's played in, every part of the story matters. Let's not forget how the NFL works when it comes to memory. Nobody really remembers who had 10 sacks instead of 8 in a given season. But they do remember who showed up when it mattered most, who played through adversity, who put the team above the individual. That's the stuff that gets echoed in highlight packages and legacy conversations. That's what lasts. Cam Heyward knows this. He's always been a student of the game, a historian of football tradition. So it's hard to believe he doesn't understand what's at stake right now. And the truth is, as much as this whole situation feels like it's spinning into drama, there's still time. There's still a window for Cam to walk back into that locker room, look his teammates in the eye, and say, let's go. There's still a chance for him to suit up on opening day, take that field with the C on his chest, and remind everyone why he's one of the most respected voices in the league. That moment could come, and if it does, everything else fades away. That's the power of football. One game, one moment, one win can shift the entire conversation. But it starts with a decision. And maybe, just maybe, that's already been made. Maybe showing up to practice, participating fully in team drills, was Cam's way of signaling that he's ready. That whatever point he wanted to make has been made. That he understands now is the time to shift focus back to the field. If that's the case, the Steelers just got a massive boost. Because when Cam Heyward is locked in and fully engaged, few defenders in the league bring the kind of impact he does. Not just with stats, but with presence. He sets the tone. He changes the energy. He makes the guys around him better. But the truth is, until he speaks, we won't know for sure. And that's where the tension remains. Because even though everyone wants to assume that things are fine now, that the drama is over, it doesn't feel finished. It feels like a pause, a lull, a quiet before either resolution or escalation. And in the NFL, especially in a locker room as tight as Pittsburgh's, that uncertainty lingers. It distracts. It festers. Which is why clarity, real, honest clarity, is what everyone is hoping for. The coming days will be telling. Not just for whether Cam suits up, but for how the Steelers handle this as a group. Because adversity has a way of revealing truth. It shows who's really in and who's not. And if there's one thing we've learned about this team under Mike Tomlin, it's that culture matters. Accountability matters. And unity matters more than talent when the lights come on. So if Cam is truly back, emotionally, mentally, physically, then this team just got a whole lot more dangerous. But if he's not, if he's just going through the motions while the contract issue simmers in the background, then the Steelers may be heading into battle without one of their most important warriors fully on board. The ball is in Cam's court now. He has the power to make this right, to silence the noise, to refocus the narrative, and most of all, to lead. Because this season, more than any other, is about leadership. It's about seizing the moment, about fighting for something that doesn't come around often. Super Bowl windows aren't open forever. They're brief. They're fragile. And when they crack open, you either climb through or you watch it slam shut. Cam Heyward, more than anyone on this roster, understands what that means. And now he has to decide whether to climb through or stand on the outside watching it close. The fans still believe in him. The teammates still rally around him. The coaches still trust him. But trust can be shaken. Momentum can be lost. And windows can close. If this is the end of the standoff, if yesterday's full participation was the olive branch, then good. That's the best possible outcome. But if it was just a momentary ceasefire in a longer battle, then this saga is far from over. And the consequences for both sides could be significant. Because at the end of the day, football is unforgiving. It doesn't wait. It doesn't pause. It doesn't slow down to accommodate contract negotiations or personal grievances. It moves forward relentlessly. And if you're not on board, completely on board, it leaves you behind. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Breaking news is buzzing through the sports world as the Pittsburgh Steelers appear to have made a massive splash in the NFL transfer market. Sources close to the team have indicated that Malachi Corley, a dynamic and versatile athlete, has officially joined the Steelers, sending shockwaves through both fans and rival franchises alike. While the organization has yet to confirm all the contractual details publicly, insiders suggest that this acquisition could fundamentally reshape the team's offensive and defensive strategies. Corley, known for his explosive speed, precise field vision, and relentless work ethic, has been a hot commodity in recent seasons, and his sudden move to Pittsburgh has immediately ignited speculation about how the coaching staff intends to integrate his unique skill set into their current roster. Fans are already flocking to social media, creating viral discussions about whether Corley's presence will elevate the Steelers to championship contention or simply add depth to an already formidable lineup. Analysts are already poring over his past performances, trying to project how his adaptability and athleticism might translate against the league's toughest competitors. With every insider leak and unofficial report, the rumor mill grows louder, painting a picture of a team that is hungry for both immediate results and long-term dominance, as the Steelers aim to cement themselves as a powerhouse franchise in the highly competitive NFL landscape. The excitement surrounding Malachi Corley's arrival in Pittsburgh has not been contained to locker room whispers or fan forums. It has cascaded into mainstream sports media, dominating headlines and talk shows alike. The prospect of Corley joining the Steelers has ignited countless debates about how this single move might influence the broader dynamics of the AFC, potentially redefining rivalries and game day strategies for years to come. Coaches, analysts, and former players are dissecting every facet of his game, from his acceleration and agility to his ability to read opposing defenses under pressure. Rumors suggest that the Steelers are planning to leverage Corley in multiple roles, potentially utilizing him both in offensive schemes that require lightning-fast decision-making and in defensive setups where his instinctive positioning could disrupt opposing plays. As news continues to trickle out, the energy surrounding Pittsburgh is palpable, with season ticket holders and local media speculating on the immediate impact of his presence. Industry insiders hint at a series of secret meetings and strategy sessions behind closed doors, all focused on maximizing the talent Corley brings. Some suggest that the team could even be preparing to redefine its playbook entirely, building new formations and plays tailored to Corley's unique abilities, signaling a bold and ambitious approach to competing at the highest level. Amidst this whirlwind of speculation, the human side of Malachi Corley's journey cannot be ignored, as sources suggest he has been meticulously preparing for this moment for years. His reputation as a consummate professional, dedicated to refining every element of his game, has reportedly made him an irresistible target for a franchise like the Steelers, who are rumored to be seeking not only raw talent, but also leadership qualities and a winning mentality. Close friends and former coaches have reportedly commented on his relentless drive, describing late-night training sessions, film study marathons, and countless hours devoted to perfecting both his physical and mental approach to football. Rumors hint that Corley's decision to join Pittsburgh was influenced not only by the team's rich history and passionate fan base, but also by personal connections within the organization who vouched for his immediate impact. The narrative emerging from these accounts paints a picture of a player fully aware of the weight of expectations he carries, one who is prepared to embrace both the praise and scrutiny that come with joining a storied franchise. As chatter intensifies across digital platforms, it seems that every statistic, highlight, and anecdote from his previous seasons is being re-examined through the lens of his potential role with the Steelers, further fueling the sense that a seismic shift in the team's fortunes may be imminent. Financial and strategic dimensions of Malachi Corley's transfer are also fueling intense speculation, with industry insiders suggesting that the deal may include complex clauses designed to balance risk and reward for both parties. While official statements are sparse, the rumor mill is rife with suggestions about signing bonuses, performance incentives, and long-term extensions that could set new precedents within the league. Analysts are dissecting hypothetical salary cap implications, debating how the Steelers might restructure existing contracts or trade assets to accommodate such a high-profile acquisition. Some whispers even hint at broader implications for the NFL transfer market as a whole, suggesting that Corley's move could trigger a cascade of player negotiations and strategic maneuvers across rival teams eager to match Pittsburgh's bold approach. Meanwhile, fan forums and social media channels are overflowing with speculative projections, mock game scenarios, and fantasy league discussions that attempt to quantify the immediate and ripple effects of this acquisition. From coaching strategies to fan culture, every angle seems to be under scrutiny, emphasizing the gravity of what some insiders are already calling one of the most daring and consequential moves of the offseason. The mix of financial calculus, strategic foresight, and sheer excitement surrounding Corley's transfer has created an electric atmosphere that few anticipated, transforming what might have been a routine roster update into a sensational story dominating sports discourse nationwide. Finally, the cultural and emotional impact of Malachi Corley joining the Steelers cannot be overstated, as the franchise and its loyal supporters brace for a season that promises both anticipation and intensity. Rumors suggest that team morale has spiked following the news, with veteran players reportedly welcoming Corley's energy and professionalism, while younger talents look to him as a model for growth and perseverance. Social media narratives are exploding with fan-created graphics, slogans, and viral videos celebrating the arrival of a new star, while commentators debate the psychological impact of such a high-profile acquisition on both teammates and rivals. Beyond the statistics and strategic implications, there is a growing sense that Corley's presence symbolizes a renewed ambition and hunger within the organization, a signal to the entire league that Pittsburgh is ready to chase glory with unprecedented focus. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.